There we go. Hi.
Uh-oh.
Hi. Hi. Hello. Welcome to Howdy Human. I'm Erika Miley, mental and sexual health therapist, and this is my wonderful friend Brandon.
I am Brandon.
We're here to talk about all of the wonderful things, including Enneagrams. We're going to talk about good enough sex. I don't even know that we've had time to even delve into any kind of pop culture anything today, like any kind of like
pop culture. Is there any pop culture left anymore? Now
it's all at home.
Nothing.
It's all at home.
Yeah.
And I have mixed opinions about the different things as they've been at home, like SNL at home, at some of these music performers at home. There has been one that I have enjoyed very much, which I saw today, and it was a bunch of people singing Times Like These by the Foo Fighters, and Dave Grohl was part of it, and so were the other Foo Fighters, which made me really happy. And I might have to kick my cat out because he just got out. He just like decided to wake up and pay attention to what I'm doing.
Uh-oh. I don't know. Oh, my cat's still next to the window.
Yeah. Yep. Because he will knock down shit to get people's attention.
Oh. He's a enterprising cat.
Oh yeah, and very, very mischievous. Hold on. He wants out.
There she goes. Cat, goodbye.
Usually I'm so much more prepared.
Yeah, it's one of those days. I mean, what are we on? We're almost on 8 weeks of lockdown here in New York City. So, I mean,
and y'all are ahead of us in Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, we can talk about that a little bit. We're starting phase 1 of opening up on the 4th.
You're opening up.
They're starting phase 1 of opening up on the 4th. Yes.
We talked about phase 1 of opening up when I was in college. Phase 1 of opening up, that was usually shots, maybe shots.
Shot. That's what goes in my head when I hear shots.
Oh, for sure. Oh my gosh.
Sharing all of our links here really quick because I'm behind on all.
Everybody.
See, now it's stuck in your head and it's gonna be till the end of the show or longer.
Oh goodness.
I just want to share the said link. I don't want to like copy. There we go. Oh, Facebook gave me a copy link option this time. Woohoo!
Ooh. That's always nice when it does that. You've leveled up.
I know. It is kind of strange. Facebook will do that. Like once you've had like a group for long enough, or once you've done like all of a sudden you'll have tools where you didn't have before. And I'm just like, oh, what? How did I get what? Why is this here? But yeah.
I really wanted the 5,000 and then the 10,000 followers tools on Instagram. The 10,000 ones are fun.
Oh, really? Have you seen them? I've never seen them. I'm not cool enough. I'm only at 1,000.
I've heard of them. I've heard that you can. That's when you're able to prevent people from messaging you from your stories.
Oh, really?
When you're able to start blocking that, when you can start adding links into the stories to sell things and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, that's that 10,000. I don't know. Put up some thirsty images. Maybe you'll boost it up there. You never know. I don't know. We're all on lockdown.
I'm such a nerd. I don't know that I could get out. I would just laugh through the whole thing.
So are most of the thoughts on on the various gaming live streaming sites. They're all laughing.
Yes, I would just
look at me. Look, I look like an anime creature.
And then make $10,000 in a week. Yep.
Yeah.
Make your money is what I say. Make your money.
Yeah, because I promise you, honey, in 10 years, you're going to wish you could still do that. Do it while you still can.
Now it's a new genre, right? Like, I wonder how many people of like certain ages will actually get in and do that and fulfill those kinds of fantasies. The face. I'm here for the Brandon faces. That's what I'm here for.
Faces, yeah, right. So you
it's not just blue steel. It's not just blue steel.
No, it's not just. I have a terrible blue steel. My blue steel looks like I'm constipated. That's. I can't do blue steel, and then my smile makes me look like a total doof. So there's no wins. It's no wins. I'm just gonna go back to my coffee.
I know, right? Cheers. I have this is from my husband is a home brewer, so he loves to brew his own beer. Loves to brew his own beer. So he's been working on a beer that won't be ready for probably another week. And so he's been like, okay, do we just like buy something like a multi-pack of something? But then some of the breweries around here are like filling up kegs of home brewers to get rid of their product. So for $40, 5 gallons of beer. $40. We couldn't. You couldn't.
A lot of farting.
Yes. Okay, so don't.
So those local brewers probably over-carbonate their beers.
Oh no, this is a brewery, so this is actually a legit place that didn't over-carbonate their beers, which I have drank a lot of.
Legit as well, but you know.
Oh, fair. Hey, I have a soft spot for Miller Lite, and it is a silly.
I do too, and it's usually in my pants the morning
or a wet spot because you spilled it.
Was that Miller? Oh yeah, and the smell of yeast. You spilled it. Oh, okay. It's bringing back memories of working in a club in college. That's too much.
I'm gonna out my parents, and hopefully my mom doesn't join right now while I out my parents about this. So my parents used to love to make. Have you ever heard of a redneck Bloody Mary?
No, I have not heard of a redneck Bloody Mary.
So essentially, it is a beer like Miller Lite. Usually, my parents chose Miller Lite. And they combine it with some sort of other tomato drink. So my parents' poison of choice was the spicy V8. So you put spicy V8 and Miller Lite together. See, I'm here for the face.
You know, in New York, we have a different name for that. It's called a michelada.
Oh, it's much fancier.
Michelada. It's fancier. You put ice in it. You salt the rim. You know, you can make like a little salt thing for the rim, maybe a little smoky salt going on there.
Okay. Yeah, much fancier than what we were doing.
Bring those calories down. Use some Michelob Ultra. Yeah.
Yes, Mick Ultra. I would imagine many a New Yorker is afraid of carbs.
Yeah. Many are. Carbs? I don't think we have carbs here in the city. They don't let them.
There's a sign before you drive into New York.
No carbs.
No carbs. Don't leave your carbs at home.
Leave them at home. We're all keto here. Keto island.
God. Keto. Oh, I'm sorry for you people that have to do keto. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I have to do my vegan diet for my heart. So I get it. When you have to do something that you have to do because of your biology, like that sucks. It totally sucks.
Yeah.
But this is fun.
Tequila is vegan.
Sorry, all of you in recovery. Apologize.
So you got me on this Enneagram thing.
Yes, I did.
Because I feel like I'm back in middle school again when the girl asks me, so what's your astrological sign?
This is so
you're a Pisces. That means that you're a twin and that you are water too, because you're fishies.
I kid you not.
I have obsessed with Scorpio Tauruses.
Oh my gosh.
With Pisces moon rising.
I will get people get mad at me if I talk about signs and things like that. But here's the thing. So Enneagrams it's a personality test. So the caveat I will give to most personality tests. Yes, this includes the Myers-Briggs. There are so many people in this world who look at me, and because I'm a therapist in the mental health world, they go, "Oh, I'm an ENTJ," as if that means anything to me. Myers-Briggs is notoriously used by a lot of businesses, but the thing is about most personality tests is that much like many psychological research that we have, there's a problem with what we call test retest. So that means you can't replicate the results all the time. So a good rule of thumb about pretty much all personality tests is that it is a measure of a point in time. So this is where you are right now. Fair?
Well, I mean, I did it, and then I was like, okay, I'm this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a type 4, and I Googled it, and all
Mhm.
of the sites that I came up with are like how to deal with being alone as a type 4.
Oh my God.
The type of people that won't date you when you're a type 4. Type 4 kind of sucks, but at least you've got emotions and artistic potential.
Oh my God. Google came for you.
No, it didn't. I didn't coax it nearly enough for it to come for me. Jesus.
Fair.
Take a
So
little
yeah,
more work.
let's talk about your results. I will talk about mine. We're going to talk about
Okay.
our results, and so this is actually a fairly quick personality test. There are many personality tests. There are a lot of items, and by items I mean questions.
We've got
So
60 questions.
yeah, there's 60. The original Myers-Briggs, the MBTI is 300. It's a lot. It's a lot of questions. That's a lot.
Ugh.
So this was 60, and it takes about 10 to 15 minutes to take it.
Yeah.
You can Google it right now. I think we use the site Truity. They're not sponsoring us. So hey Truity, kick us something. I'll put it at the bottom of the screen if you want to pay us both. But we took the Truity one, and honestly, I felt pretty good about, and of course I hustled my husband into taking it too, so we can talk a little bit about that, because then we also looked at the numbers matching, right? Like the best types of relationships for the number type, which I thought was an interesting kind of thing. So do you have your pie chart up? We could share the screen.
Oh, I didn't do the pie chart. Let me bring the pie chart up. I can do the pie chart.
And so we could share it, and y'all could see what we got.
But I actually did my homework.
You did your homework.
Okay. Share screen application window.
Yay.
How's that?
There it is. Add to stream.
Did it work?
Ta-da.
Magic. There you go.
Yay.
So like I said, I'm a type 4.
Mm-hmm.
Which apparently I agree with it. And it said that one of the sites I read said that many type 4s misrepresent themselves as type 5s, but they're really type 4s. So
interesting. So what was that? Let me look. What was the type 5? Let me look at that. Hold on.
Type 5. So this site that I was reading,
Investigator.
Eclectic Energies. Eclectic Energies likes to say that intellectual 4s tend to mistakenly type themselves as 5s. A heavy wing can certainly exacerbate this tendency. 4s, however, unlike 5s, tend to be self-revealing and comfortable with emotional expression and crystals.
Of course, you got to bring crystals in. Come on.
I had to add crystal in there.
Of course you did. So I do want to break down for people what a wing means. So essentially, when you're looking at Brandon's results there, it is the other the most closely resembling. I'm pointing to the pie chart as if people can see me do that. Okay. that next score that is the highest is considered what would be a wing,
which was 5 for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was followed by 8. I have it here. Let me see here.
Followed by an 8. I'm an 8.
I was 4, 98% match 4, 90% match 5, and then 83% match 8, 82% 2, 81% 3. And definitely not a type 1. That's like the lowest. It's like, yeah, you're not a perfectionist. You
You screw around. I really wish they would just be honest about that. Like, you screw around. And I'm actually going to put this here in the thing. This is where we did this. So if you all are wanting to jump on and do this, because honestly, in the amount of time that we're going to be talking tonight, like, you could jump on and do this personality test, jump on in the comments and tell us your numbers. We want to know. We want to hear from you in the comments. YouTube, Facebook, jump in. I see 4 of you watching. Come on, take that personality test and tell us what number you are. And then we can talk all about it. All about it. Oh, Teresa's doing it now. Ha! See?
It's about 60 questions, and it doesn't get less tedious as you're doing it, but get through it.
So I do want to talk a little bit about like how tests are made, just a tiny bit. I'm not going to bore you too much with a lot of that because we'd be here for a while. But essentially, like, what any kind of survey is going to do, especially a personality test, is going to ask you a variation of the same questions again and again.
Over and over and over and over and over.
And the reason is that these items, so questions or items, have been tested to see the efficacy of each question to get the answer that was intended. So, that being said, you're going to answer a lot of questions that might feel similar. And the reasoning behind that is because of the attempt to try to get a really good sense of keeping a person from trying to game a test, if that makes sense. So if you're given a question, even if it's a similar question again and again, you're much more likely to be able to answer that honestly. So let me mute some of my messenger that is now blowing up. Hold on. I'm like, why is this dinging at me?
I mean, for me, it was mainly like the questions get asked. And it's like, well, I mean, in what situation am I answering this question?
Right.
That's where I have the trouble with it because, yeah, I might not every day be looking for perfection, but, there are certain moments where the perfectionist inside of me might come out a little bit, or the obsessive compulsive inside of me might come out a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think any of these can be totally perfect. That's for sure.
And that's why it is really good to think about this as a point in time. And to understand that more than likely, if you took this 5 years from now, it might very well be different or a little different, or maybe even the same. And I think what happens for us humans is that we want to take a personality test that tells us who we are because we hate ambiguity. And
Labrador. Definitely Labrador.
Definitely. Yes. So I do want to come back to your 4.
Okay. So
how did you feel about the description? We should talk about the description a little bit.
I went looking around for various descriptions because the one on the site that we went to was...
You had to pay.
Well, they do give descriptions if you go further down the page, but they have a paywall up in between.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that their descriptions were a little kind of short. They say type 4 is known as the individualist. 4s want to be unique and to live life authentically and are highly I hate that word authentically.
It's
so overused, and people who use it don't even know what it means.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
I'm living my best life so authentically. Look at me. It's a green screen, and those are palm trees, and I live in Alaska. Isn't it great? I'm so authentic.
The most authentic life.
It's not authentic. You are not using that word correctly. It says they're highly attuned to their emotional experience. I don't know if I totally agree with being highly attuned to my emotional experience. As I'm being totally millennial and going up on the end of my lines.
So
talking.
But what about the other description? The one that you sent me. What was that website? Can you put that in the comments so people?
Eclectic energies.
Yes. We'll take the Crystal website because I did read that and I felt like they did give a bit of a more of at least more of an explanation. I also was looking at what was it? The Enneagram Institute. I will put that in the.
I'm having trouble accessing our. Okay, there we go. I must be using a lot of processor speed. There we go. Okay.
I have like 20 tabs up. That might be part of it.
No, it's me. It's definitely on my end. What do I have open that is causing all of this kerfluffle?
I always
Interesting.
Outlook like is my bane of my existence as far as like bandwidth usage.
Outlook, goodness. Okay, well, I tried and it didn't make it into a cute link. It just sent a big link. But that's with the type 4, and I think you can find along the left-hand side on the personality. Oh, there's energy healing also. Ooh, wonderful.
This is the one that I was using for, and this one actually had a really good brief explanation that I felt like was, and it's the EnneagramInstitute.com. And I put that up.
So this one, the Eclectic Energy site, they have the very brief identity seekers who feel unique and different. Okay, I get it. I've never quite felt like I fit in with people. It works. It makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, you felt like it fit. I would imagine. See, it's the beer making me burp.
I warned you about all that brewer's beer.
You did. This, the more that I read on other sites, to be completely honest, I felt like that they did a better job, especially the Enneagram Institute. That description, I was like, oh, get out of my head. Okay, that's enough. Thank you very much. That is quite enough. The pieces that I read of the eclectic energies that you sent me about 4, I was like, yeah, I could see that in some of the conversations you and I have had. I could see some of the elements of a 4 in you for sure. Especially, I would imagine that people who tend to be more creative types, like people who are actors or artists or things like that, that they might end up being more of a 4 because there is that bottom basement part of your personality that challenges the norm.
See, that's what I liked about the description on the one side I found. They said a desire to manifest, let's hear, they are emotionally centered and spend much of their lives immersed in their internal mental landscapes where they feel free to cultivate and analyze their feelings. A desire to manifest this internal world often leads 4s to an interest in the arts, and some do become actual artists, whether artistic or not. Which I do agree with, because I think some people get driven into the arts and they're not totally artistic. So I get it.
They're not true force.
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe I'm just not artistic. Maybe it's time to leave, time to retire.
I don't agree.
No.
But okay. I mean, if you're tired of it, honestly, like I would encourage you to live your best life and live authentically.
Oh, that word again. Yeah.
I know that was just for my entertainment. Sorry, y'all.
It's got to be like the marketing catchword of 2019.
Oh yeah.
Okay, guys, we're bringing out these new socks with dolphins on them, and we want you to call them authentic. It's a pink dolphin on a blue sock.
You're like, stop it.
It's not authentic.
Stop it.
You're not using the word correctly. So
words mean things.
So wait a minute, which number are you so we can find which crystal fits your personality?
My perfect crystal. Okay. I am an 8. And I'll read the little one like you. Here, I'll give you my pie chart. I will devolve. Yes, that's what's happening here. I will divulge. There we go. I can't words. I'm tired. I've been working since this morning and it's just
long day. Very long day.
Best day. Okay, come on. Here we go. All right, share. There we go.
Oh, wow.
Add to stream. I'm very much an 8. And when I read the description of an 8, especially on
sharing mine.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on. Add to stream. There we go.
There we go.
We got it. Yep.
Yeah.
So I am an 8. There's a big piece of that pie, not a 9, apparently. Not at all a 9. And then there's also evidence to be a 3. So, but I like this little percentage breakdown because it really can help. But 8 is also known as the challenger. 8 see themselves as strong and powerful and seek to stand up for what they believe in. That is true. But this is what actually made a damn difference to me. This description on the Enneagram Institute's website. And it talks about 8s are self-confident, strong, assertive, protective, resourceful, straight talking, and decisive, but can also be egocentric and domineering. Yes, I've actually had the feedback from some of my professors of the first one was, Erika, let the client get there. You need to slow down. So I still even now with my clients.
We don't move straight to spanking therapy. We allow them to get there first.
Yeah, 8s feel like they must control their environment, especially people, sometimes becoming confrontational, intimidating. 8s typically have problem with their tempers, with allowing them to be vulnerable. At their best, self-mastering, they use their strength to improve others' lives, becoming heroic, magnanimous, and inspiring. The thing that I think I liked the best, though, to be completely honest, not to jump forward very quickly, but I'm gonna. This is the relationship types together. So my husband is a 6. And I am a 8. So the loyalist, which I was like, these are so dramatic in their titles. I just love them. And the challenger.
I'm sorry, that was the Labrador and the German Shepherd. What was that?
I feel like that would make Enneagrams even better, is if we labeled each of these numbers with a dog type.
Yeah, I think definitely a dog type. Although the challenger could be a Chihuahua. I find
completely annoying. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But I really liked what they had said. The first sentence, my husband and I started laughing because it was so accurate. Enneagram 8s and 6s can build an extraordinarily strong, long-lasting relationship on what is, at root, a defensive view of the world. Both types feel that most people and the world are selfish and untrustworthy, and that the world is highly unpredictable. Yeah, I'm outing me and my husband in a big way right now.
So you guys wallow in your persecution complex?
We wallow in our, let's protect all of our own. The world is a unfeeling, scary place.
The world is kind of an unfeeling, scary place, but that's another conversation.
This is my favorite right here. Both 6s and 8s have deep issues with trust and finding people that they are able to trust. And so when they have found each other and have gone through a period of testing, their alliance can be solid and deep. Oh, that spoke to us both so big, so big. We've been married for 11 years. And before that, we had been friends since he was 16, I was 18. So there was a long period of trust building. So I just really enjoyed it.
Come here, little boy.
Hey, I'm a leap year baby, so it's him.
Right.
This is something I hate about personality tests.
Yeah.
Just say this. I hate the examples. Because they're post-mortem, like essentially calling someone a specific personality type, and I hate it. I think it's dumb. I don't like. I didn't need to know that Franklin D. Roosevelt was an 8. Guess what? He probably. How do you know that? This test wasn't available when he was alive. So what?
Like they gave it to him once in the Oval Office. Okay, it's been around for a long time.
They pulled up Dr. Google and let Winston Churchill.
Probably involved a Ouija board, some candles, and crystals.
Fidel Castro. Fidel
Castro.
Mikhail Gorbachev. This is my okay. We're not. Hey, stick around. Saddam Hussein has the same personality type as me, and so
I am starting to wonder if it's time to take a new test.
I was like, okay, Donald Trump, Pablo Picasso, Ernest Hemingway. Like, come on now. But let's get to some good folks. Toni Morrison.
Is that just the fascist category that we're dealing with right now?
Serena Williams, Toni Morrison, James Brown, Aretha Franklin. I'll take it. I'll take those. But come on.
Serena's not an 8. Have you seen her smash her racket, please? She's not an 8.
Are you sure? We have problems with
lies. She's totally a 4. She's sensitive. She's emotional.
And beautiful. Yeah. Completely. So yeah. So that's the Enneagram. What? So overall, like, how do you feel about this? Like, how did you feel about this exercise? Like, it was
good. I mean, I'm glad you got a chance to see what relationships worked for you. Because when you pull up relationships, type 4 with anything, it's just good luck.
Is that what it says? Like, that would be amazing.
Good luck. Yeah, no, it doesn't even have the numbers. The other ones, it's just like good luck. Little tooltip. Ha ha.
No, the little paperclip, the old school paperclip came up, right? Did you need to put this?
I remember when Microsoft added the paperclip into Word, and it was such a resource hog, it slowed the computer down.
Yes.
That was a disaster.
I really wish the paperclip would come back.
Oh, the 90s. Mm-hmm. I miss the 90s.
Sometimes. My run this morning was all a 90s mix. That was just glorious. It was glorious.
They're good songs. Up until you get to In Sync.
I mean, but it's gonna be May.
It's May already. It's gonna be May.
I don't care how long that meme has been going on. It still makes me laugh my ass off. I don't know why, but it just, every time I see it, it makes me laugh really, really hard.
So yes, I enjoyed the activity. It was fun. I realized this afternoon I hadn't done it. Teresa, what number did you get? You've got to be done by now.
I think you're a 4. That's my bet. That's what my money's on.
I don't know. I'm not putting money on anything. These personality things, I don't put any money on it.
No game.
No. I mean, I think they're fun. I'm sure it has some relevance to many things. I try to stay away from it because I don't think you can really put people into categories. And you touched on that right at the beginning of it. And you said this is really just a snapshot of who you are in this moment. It's not necessarily something that's even tomorrow or yesterday.
Exactly.
And some of these questions you might be like, a number of them I'm like, well, I mean, this was me kind of 6 months ago. This kind of qualifies. Okay, this is accurate. I don't know if I necessarily agree with the 5-point scale of not accurate or accurate and neutral in the middle. I don't really, that gets down to the kind of hazy quality of a 5-point scale.
I mean, fair. There is a lot of researchers that they will use different forms of these kinds of scales. So this scale, a 5-point scale, is called a Likert scale, and so they will use them to try to get like a variability of data. But then there are a lot of researchers who don't love that neutral in between because it doesn't. It allows someone to essentially feel like they've escaped answering the question.
Yeah.
So being able to, she's a 2. Oh, sorry, I got distracted. Sorry, Teresa said she was a 2. Oh, where's our, what is a 2? Oh, a 2. Type 2 can be described as the giver. Oh, that fits too. I love you, Teresa.
Helpers who need to be needed.
Yes, 2s want to be liked and find ways that they can be helpful to others so that they can be loved and belong. The giver. Oh, yes. Yes, yes. Until your tank is empty. I have met a few givers in my career and in my life. The giver. How did you feel about that, Teresa? Tell us.
While she's typing, the eclectic energy says strengthening the root chakra provides 2s with the sense of stability they need to attend to their own needs. Get on those pelvic floor exercises.
Yes, pelvic floor exercises always. I'm gonna
strengthen that root chakra.
How was yoga today?
I've been getting really bad about the routine.
What do you mean?
Yeah, well, my sleep schedule's changed so much. I used to be able to do like 6 hours, no problem, wake up, ready to go. And that's become 8 hours. So it is likely a lot of getting locked indoors, but I'm sure also I live in New York, so we get exercise just passively throughout the day.
Yeah.
Without even having to think about, oh, I need to go get my steps in or something. And without that, I'm sure the body is operating very differently. So.
Oh yeah, I imagine so. That'd be interesting research to see like what is happening, what is happening with people and their level of activity. But this is something I'm hearing from all of my people. Like I'm hearing that they're tired by 3 or 4 o'clock. And then they're mystified as to why that is. And I'm like, can a global pandemic be enough for you to be tired?
And lack of vitamin D. I mean, you're not outside. You're not getting the passive amounts of vitamin D that you would have gotten throughout the day. So, I mean, I have started to consider, nutrition and whether I need to start taking some D just to boost those levels.
Especially those I encourage people to, I am not a doctor, I'm not a pharmacist, but I encourage people to, if they can, if it doesn't impact them in any way, to take things like B12 and the B complex and vitamin D. There's a ton of research around our mental health and these vitamin supplements. It is, of course, better if we can get it through our food because how we absorb food. But if you need to supplement with those things, I lived in the Northwest for a very long time. A D vitamin was necessary.
Yes. And on your B12 side, that is the first thing they look for when you're evaluating someone for dementia is a B12 level. So if that is something that you have problems with, lozenges, B12 lozenge, put it under the tongue at breakfast. They make lozenges. Those absorb a lot better than the chewables. So that's, having had to do dementia care for the last 2 years, I learned some stuff about doing that. But yeah, B12 definitely. So Teresa says, it's so accurate, except I don't believe my drive to help and give is to be liked. Sometimes it's part of it. I think that's normal. But at the end of the day, I am wired to nurture and care for others because it's what I do. There you go.
I'm also a Hufflepuff in the H world. Yep. Hufflepuffs are your night. Same. I feel like Harry Potter houses might be more accurate. Let's be real. And look, see, I'm here for the faces of Brandon, the many faces of Brandon.
This is my problem because I was born in that period between 1980 and 1983.
Yes.
And those of us who were 80 to 83 babies.
84 here. Come on.
I was a senior when these Harry Potter books came out. I
was older too. I was in high school, and the reason we read them was, I mean, let's be completely
because they banned all the other books at your Christian academy.
That was in college. I went to a Christian college. But that being said, the high school I went to in English honors, we were required to read so many pages per month. And guess what were really long? The middle books. They were very long. And so we all read them. And the teacher, Dr. Ravenscroft, oh, God bless him. He was like, no, you need to be reading more advanced literature. And we're all like, but we hit the page requirement in one book. Can we just...
No, go read As I Lay Dying.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Like we had to essentially then pick from the classics list. And I was like, oh, yeah. Just because it's classic doesn't make it good.
Thankfully, my coding ability was good enough to find the online. I faked my way through my last 2 years of high school.
I feel like
I totally faked it.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Oh. I mean, the thing I can say about Harry Potter, as far as like, because those that hack in high school, we tried so hard to, get our page requirement in. It did hook me. They are a wonderful, it's just the same story that we've all read again and again, dark versus light, right?
And in the discussion of dark versus light, it is time to move on to the second topic of the day.
Oh, look at you segue us beautifully. We're
moving on towards non-goal-based
sexual activity. I want to talk about this because I think that it's important in the way of like expectation. So I think as humans, we expect life to go a certain way. We expect it to look a certain way. We expect our lives to be a certain way. But when in reality, when it comes to sex and the rest of life, it doesn't happen how we expect. And first and foremost, culturally, we have an issue around sex when it comes to shame, when it comes to expectation, when it comes to our expectation based on the performance of sex we've seen, whether it's porn, whether it's something we've read in a book, whether it's in a movie, whether it's in a TV show.
I'm here to deliver the pizza.
Oh, I like pizza.
Dance break.
As I'm hearing someone screaming out on the streets. This is why I use this type of microphone, because it cuts out of all the background noise from New York.
I was going to say, I did not hear any street screaming.
Yeah, the crazies are out in New York now. The crazies are out. But yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, and most people are now exposed, obviously, through porn. That's just now more than, I mean, it's probably been that way since the advent of the tubes.
1999, probably 98.
Yeah, I mean, you could find it online if you knew what you were looking for, but so few people had the computers in their bedrooms.
I mean, fair.
Yeah, usually it was the family computer, and then you didn't know how to scrub your history, and then you got put in your room for a few days without any material, and then you had to resort to Victoria's Secret magazines again.
I was gonna say, are you telling us a story?
No, not at all. Yeah,
that story is really common though. Like that story you're telling is incredibly common. Like
I had a computer in my room.
Lucky.
I found the porn, but there was also so many bots that would automatically open hundreds of pages and shut your computer down and load viruses onto your computer, and it was the Wild West. It was not nearly as safe as it is today to go around the web.
Absolutely. Like the kids today, we're showing our age right now. The kids today
get
off my lawn.
You have no idea what it was like when you had to actually put http:// www. Now they just put in the .com. They don't know what it was like.
No, they don't know the sound. They have no clue what it was like to have to like shut your computer down if you accidentally landed on porn or even intentionally landed on porn. Like it would come up with 100 different screens across. Yeah, totally. And you're like, no.
Oh, horses. No. German horses. Ooh, no.
Stop. How do I make it stop? I broke it.
No, my computer's shit. Click. Gotta turn it off and turn it back on again.
Yes. And then you're not altogether sure you didn't get something that completely destroyed it.
Oh, it's terrible because so you got this dial-up connection, and of course I'd be going through. I'm like, oh wow, look, cheerleaders, yeah, that's great, cheerleaders. Yeah, sure, Brandon, are you on the internet right now?
Get off the internet. I gotta make a call.
I was almost done.
Damn it.
Just tossed me offline and it was loading pixel by pixel by pixel. I was almost there.
So close. Honestly, so close. But I think that all of these influences, not just porn, we pick on porn because, culturally we love to pick on porn. Porn in any kind of sexual material has been around for eons, and humans will figure out a way to make whatever newest technology there is into something pornographic. We actually used to put it on walls. Before we had the ability to put it on the internet, we would put it on stone. So the porn is here to stay. So y'all get used to it.
Yep.
Make the porn you want if you want good porn. There's also great porn out there in the world, just saying. But the expectations around sex and the expectation of what sex is really, really, it really, really fucks us up as humans.
Yeah.
So according to all of these cultural things, movies, porn, internet, and I do want to make sure I shout out the people who essentially came up with this perspective. One of my wonderful, wonderful mentors, Dr. Barry McCarthy. He talks about the idea. He essentially created the whole idea of good enough sex. And that our cultural expectations have really, really been the culprit for why we have these expectations and we bring them into the bedroom. Our brain, again, isn't as evolved as we think it is. So it's an association machine. We see sexual material and then we think, oh, I need to take that into the bedroom. We can, but ultimately, you and I've talked about this already on the show. People have no fucking clue about how much work goes into performing any kind of sex act in a film.
You gotta be athletic.
Athletic. They use substances to try to keep erections. They use other kinds of things to make the skin look a very specific way.
They use fake spooge.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's no way for what they need to do with camera angles. There's no way for it to happen the way that it happens between two people behind a closed door or in public, for goodness sake. There's or more than two people. That taking that expectation into the bedroom it's really not fair to yourself. So I want to just kind of give some of the statistics because I do think it's important here. And I just love, for any of you that wants to Google, use Dr. Google. You can Google the good enough sex model from Metz and McCarthy, and their primary research study was from 2007. So look it up, read it if you think I'm full of shit. So I'm just going to read what he says here because I think it's really important. The good enough sex model invites couples to share desire, pleasure, eroticism, and satisfaction as intimate and erotic allies. GES emphasizes positive, realistic sexual expectations without requiring perfect intercourse. Although the valued scenario is a mutual synchronous experience, so that means something that you've both agreed upon that works together, we know that fewer than 50% of all sexual encounters achieve that goal. So the same orgasm together, fewer than
synchronous rowing at the moment.
How much practice does it take to probably for a rowing team to get that right?
Oh, quite a bit.
A lot.
And a drum.
Yes.
Maybe if you brought a drum into the bedroom.
Hey, or someone like helping you keep time. Oh, a metronome.
A metronome.
Another use for a metronome. So, but like synchronous.
You know, I was listening to this podcast last week and there was this wonderful idea. Okay, honey, so this is a metronome and you are going to thrust when you hear a click. Okay, on the click. Can you do that? All I'm asking for is rhythm.
All you have
once.
Just go on Spotify and pull up that sexy playlist, right? Like if I gotta make one, I'll friggin' make one. But the key takeaway is that most of us are not having orgasms together. We're just not.
Yeah.
It's less than 50%. While 85% of sexual encounters are in fact positive for most participants, most are still asynchronous. That is better for one partner than the other. For couples under 40, sex is typically better for the male. For couples over 60, it tends to be better for the female. What do you think of that?
I think that's likely pretty accurate. Yeah.
I
mean,
why do you think so? Like, I'm just curious what you think culturally.
I think communication. In my 20s, trying to get the other person to come, trying to get the communication from them, period, about what felt good was hard enough. And the few times you did get that communication, come to find out perhaps months, maybe years later, that they were just lying about it.
Yes.
The whole time.
Yes.
Throughout a 9-month relationship, she was just lying. And then use it later just to get back at you. That was a healthy relationship.
But it's okay, because the one time I came with you is the only time I'd come with a guy anytime. So, that was fine.
What?
Again,
why do you think I don't reach for the stars anymore?
Again, why I'm here. The million faces of Brandon. Just so amazing.
God.
So amazing.
Oh, if I had known. Yeah, I think communication. Because this gets back to what we were talking about last week, where guys generally know their anatomy. Generally know their anatomy a little bit better.
Well, you are faced with it a lot more than we are, right? Like you actually touch it
back at you
multiple times a day, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Multiple times a day. We have to. And then the response I get from many young women is, it's my little monster.
Ooh.
The minute you name Cleopatra a monster, give it a name like Quintessa
or vulva, like what it is, and start to get to know it
intimately, please. Because if you don't know it, how do you expect me to go and find its little things?
The
they all
clitoris
have
is larger than just a little bit. It's a big organ. We'll talk about that. That's a whole show. We'll do a whole anatomy show. Yeah.
Yes, the clitoris is quite a large organ, and it. Anyways, so yes, I think it's down to communication.
Yes,
and
I
then
think that's a big piece of it.
You get the problem with the 20s where the guy just, well, in the best case scenario, the guy lasts longer than 5 minutes. Because most men, it's 5 to 15 minutes.
Roughly.
And
most sexual encounters top out at about 20 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Most sexual encounters. And it depends on the person, right? Like it really depends on the person. But ultimately, I think that this a big part of these numbers, so that for couples under 40, sex is better for the male. I think it has a lot to do with cultural expectations, right?
Yeah.
Like what does that for, especially for many, female identified folks, like from the time you're pretty young, like your body is not yours, your sexuality is not yours. And then you're expected to then be able to tell somebody about this body that's not yours and that you're not supposed to enjoy pleasure with. Like that's a tough ask, right? And as many women get older, they will start to maybe try to understand their bodies more and give less fucks, to be completely frank.
Very less. Lot less fucks. And also, if you're circumcised, you become less sensitive. And as the years go on, you become less and less and less and less sensitive.
It is something us sex therapists do teach people to do, is be able to learn how to, especially for those of you with penises who worry about how quickly you ejaculate, like us sex therapists help people with that all the time. We teach you techniques to be able to practice on your own. We don't practice them with you. I can't tell you how many times I have to tell somebody that I am not going to show them how to physically do a thing. I'm going to give you an assignment. You're going to go by yourself and do that on your own or with a partner. But anyway, being able to practice certain kinds of techniques so that you can ejaculate later as opposed to sooner.
Yeah.
That pelvic floor, it matters.
I have a friend who made a movie about this, and the side result of this technique also is that men can have multiple orgasms. Yes. It's called Fire One Ready. I don't know where he has it available at the moment, but it is a humorous film, very sex eddy, but very funny.
We should have him on.
It's really good. Yeah, I'll talk to Brandon. He's up in, I'd say upstate, but it's not that far out of the city. So I just talked to him about 2 or 3 days ago. I think he would do it. He's fun. Brandon Maxwell's great. He's an awesome filmmaker and good friend. So yeah, I've got a copy of the film because I helped him recut portions of it, but I don't know where he has it at the moment. I don't know if it's even up on a website. It's really good. It's like 23 minutes long.
Oh, that's awesome. And do you remember if it takes people through techniques, or is it just kind of like
it is with diagrams and people and everything.
Fantastic.
And lots of 70s references to exploitation films and everything. So it's really fun.
Your music. We need your music.
Oh yeah, it's got it. Oh no, it has that music too. One of the guys who did the old Cinemax films with me, I think, is actually in it. So,
oh, fantastic. That's amazing.
Yeah. So no, they have people doing everything, but it's on the funny side. It's not really boring. It's good.
That's fantastic. So to wrap up our night, because we could be here for 2 hours. We're
going to need to circle back around next week and get back to good enough sex.
Mm-hmm.
What is good enough sex? I mean, and how do you start those conversations with your partner of the night or of many nights or weeks or months or years so that you can have good better than just good enough?
And here's the thing, like Dr. McCarthy talks about like teaching, like he says, if you get one night of Hollywood sex a month, you're lucky, and enjoy it if you get to have it. He's like, most of the time that's not how we operate. And so if the first thing that when I'm helping couples trying to understand how to connect with one another, it is learning to experience pleasure as it is that does not contain the goal of orgasm. So we start with, what does pleasure feel like to you? Sometimes for some people, I need to start non-sexually because it's very difficult to understand what pleasure is and what it feels like in your body. And so sometimes we got to start somewhere that is easier to access. So like I have people, have you ever seen one of those head scratcher thingies? Those little things. That's like, it's a metal. It's metal and it has like the.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
And you go like,
yeah.
It's much more fun to watch you try to do those things.
Yeah.
So I sometimes will have
90s hair is coming back.
Yes. Use it. You need a flannel shirt though to do that.
Oh, I have flannel shirts. So you were saying
being able to identify pleasure first. That's where I start with a lot of couples. Like, what does pleasure mean to you? How do you know it when you're experiencing it? And then I have people work individually about what sexually feels good, because you need to understand, like you've already keenly said, you need to understand what feels good to you to be able to describe it to somebody else.
Oh, yeah.
So,
and you need to learn how to do emotional foreplay. You need to start emotional foreplay in the morning.
yes.
You need to start emotional foreplay as a guy, because emotional foreplay works and you should be doing it immediately.
Yes. Something we actually understand about many, many, many women is that roughly 70%, a little more, have a responsive sexual desire system. So they are not spontaneously aroused. They often are aroused as they start sexual activity. So it's not something that they just like, oh, I feel sexy right now, or I saw something sexy, so now I feel sexy. It's no, I'm actually physically being stimulated, mentally stimulated, and then my desire response starts to kick on. Many of my people, when they start to understand that, and they understand that context matters a whole lot, and if they can really influence that context, their sex lives get better a lot faster.
Oh, yeah. And installing better shower heads.
Yes, shower heads matter. hashtag shower heads matter.
So let's circle back around on this next week.
Yes, I think that's a great idea. And thank you for all of you for being game to do the Enneagram.
Yeah.
If after the show you take the test and you want to drop in the comments what your numbers are, please show us. We'd love to hear from you and hear what your Enneagram numbers are. And Brandon, you're always joy. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, folks. I hope you have a good evening. We will see you all next time.